This is not just a fashion deal. This is a power move that has the NFL shaking behind closed doors. Shedeur Sanders just made his luxury fashion debut with Amiri in Paris, and according to reports circulating online, the deal attached to it is worth a jaw-dropping $80 million. A rookie quarterback stepping onto European runways, signing one of the biggest fashion partnerships in football history, and doing it without following the league's traditional endorsement playbook. That alone is wild, but what happened next is what really set the league on fire. Sources claim an unnamed NFL owner completely lost it after finding out about the Amiri deal. Emergency calls were made. Roger Goodell allegedly got pulled into damage control mode. And suddenly, what should have been a celebration turned into a league-wide controversy. Because this wasn't just about clothes. This was about control. Think about how rare this is. Most rookies spend their first year just trying to survive training camp. Shedeur Sanders is out here jumping from touchdown celebrations to Paris Fashion Week, locking in luxury contracts that most veterans can only dream about. And he didn't wait for permission. He didn't tiptoe around league politics. He made the move and let the NFL react afterward. That's what has the old guard nervous. For decades, the league has quietly managed how players handle big endorsement deals, especially when apparel brands are involved. There are unwritten rules, quiet conversations, approval chains, but Shedeur allegedly skipped all of that and went straight to the bag. And now, some owners are worried he just opened the door for every young star to do the same thing. Because if a fifth-round rookie can sign an $80 million luxury fashion deal without league approval, what's stopping future superstars from bypassing the system entirely? What's stopping players from choosing independence over league control? And that's why this story isn't really about Amiri. It's not even just about Shedeur Sanders. It's about a shifting power dynamic in professional sports. A new generation of athletes who see themselves as brands, not just players. And once you hear what allegedly happened behind closed doors after this deal leaked, you'll understand why the NFL is quietly panicking. When the news first started circulating, most people thought it was just another celebrity fashion collab. But within hours, it became clear this was something much bigger. Reports claim Shedeur Sanders and his brother Shiloh signed a joint luxury partnership with Amiri, valued at around $80 million. And this wasn't just about wearing designer outfits for Instagram photos. This was about stepping directly into the high-fashion world. According to fashion insiders, both brothers are expected to make appearances at major European runway events, including Paris Fashion Week. That's not normal territory for rookie NFL players. That's elite fashion space. That's where global models, movie stars, and luxury ambassadors usually operate. And now, a rookie quarterback is walking into that room like he belongs there. What made this move even louder is how intentional it looked. Shedeur didn't randomly attach himself to just any brand. Amiri isn't streetwear. It isn't budget fashion, it's luxury. It's exclusivity, it's status. And by aligning himself with that image so early in his career, he sent a clear message. He's not waiting years to build influence. He's claiming it now. Fans immediately started debating the money. Some people couldn't believe a rookie could pull numbers like this. Others said it made perfect sense. Shedeur already carries star power from college. He has social reach. He has name recognition. And he understands image better than most athletes his age. But the real shock wasn't the runway rumors. It wasn't even the dollar amount. It was how the deal was allegedly handled behind the scenes, because this partnership didn't go through the usual NFL endorsement channels. There were no quiet approvals, no behind-the-scenes coordination, just a straight business move. And that's where things started to get messy. Because once league executives realized what just happened, the reaction wasn't excitement, it was panic. According to multiple reports circulating in league circles, the real chaos started during a routine NFL conference call. Someone casually mentioned that Shedeur Sanders had just signed a massive luxury deal with Amiri. At first, It didn't raise alarms. Players sign endorsements all the time. That's normal business. But then another detail came out. Allegedly, the deal was finalized without going through the league's usual endorsement coordination process. That's when everything shifted. Sources claim one powerful, old-school owner went completely silent on the call, muted his mic, and immediately reached out to Roger Goodell's office demanding answers. Within hours, what started as fashion news turned into a league-level issue. Emergency conversations were reportedly scheduled. Private calls between owners followed. And suddenly, Shedeur's name was at the center of a power struggle that had nothing to do with football performance. The owner's main concern wasn't the money. It was the precedent. According to insiders, he allegedly warned that if the league allowed a rookie to sign major apparel deals without coordination, it would open the floodgates. Every player would start cutting independent deals. League partners would feel sidelined, and the NFL's grip on brand presentation would weaken overnight. Some sources even claim the owner went on a long rant about players going rogue and undermining league authority. Strong language, strong emotions, and a clear sign that this wasn't just about one contract. It was about fear of losing control. Because behind the scenes, the NFL isn't just a sports league. It's a massive branding machine built on partnerships worth billions. When that structure feels threatened, reactions get intense fast. And that's why this moment mattered. It exposed the tension between old-school ownership power and a new generation of athletes who see themselves as independent brands. But to understand why this reaction was so extreme, you have to know how NFL endorsement politics actually work. And once you hear that part, the panic starts to make a lot more sense. Here, what most fans never see. The NFL isn't just about games on Sunday. It's built on massive brand partnerships that bring in billions every year. Nike controls the official uniform rights. Fanatics dominates league merchandise. Other sponsors pay huge money for exclusive visibility. And all of those deals depend on one thing: control. The league wants consistency. They want players showing up to official events, press conferences, and league ceremonies wearing partner-approved brands. Not because of fashion, but because those partnerships are tied directly to revenue. When players wear competing luxury brands at high-profile events, it weakens the value of those exclusivity deals. That's why Shedeur's Amiri move hit differently. According to reports, his contract allegedly includes language allowing him to wear Amiri outfits at public appearances tied to team and league functions. If that's true, it creates a nightmare scenario for the league. Suddenly, players aren't just athletes anymore. They become walking billboards for brands that never paid the NFL a dollar. From the owner's perspective, that's dangerous, because once one player does it, others will follow. Imagine press conferences filled with Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Prada, and Amiri instead of league partners. That doesn't just change style, it changes bargaining power. And here's the real problem for the NFL. They don't actually have clear rules banning this. They rely on informal agreements, internal coordination, and tradition. That works until someone decides not to play along. That's what makes Shedeur's move so disruptive. He didn't technically break any official rule, but he challenged the system by ignoring how things have always been done. And once the league realized they couldn't easily stop it, the conversation shifted from damage control to long-term strategy. Because now they're facing a much bigger question. Do they adapt to this new player-driven model, or try to clamp down and risk backlash? And that brings us to the divide that's now forming inside NFL ownership itself, because not everyone agrees on how this should be handled. What really surprised people inside the league wasn't the backlash itself. It was how divided the owners became once the Amiri situation hit the table. According to reports, not everyone sided with the angry owner. In fact, some team owners quietly supported what Shedeur did. Younger owners and more business-focused executives allegedly argued that this is simply the future. Players aren't just athletes anymore. They're brands. They have social followings. They drive culture. And trying to control every endorsement decision makes the league look outdated. Their argument was simple: fight this trend and you lose public support. Adapt to it and everyone wins. On the other side were the traditional power figures, the owners who built their wealth on rigid structures, centralized control, and strict league hierarchy. They reportedly pushed back hard. Their concern wasn't emotion, it was economics. If league partners feel disrespected, they might renegotiate contracts. They might demand new clauses. They might reduce payments. And that hits the league's financial ecosystem. So now you have two philosophies clashing. One side sees player independence as progress. The other sees it as chaos. And Shedeur Sanders just happened to be the spark that exposed the tension. What makes this even more interesting is how public opinion lines up. Younger fans tend to side with players. They respect independence. They like seeing athletes control their own brands. Older fans and traditional executives often lean toward structure and stability. That cultural gap is growing fast. And while the NFL debated internally, Amiri wasn't sitting quietly. They made a move of their own that turned this situation from a private disagreement into a public statement. And that's where things escalated even further. While the NFL was still debating behind closed doors, Amiri stepped straight into the spotlight. According to reports, the brand released a public statement celebrating its partnership with Shedeur Sanders and emphasizing athlete creativity, independence, and cultural influence. That wasn't just a press release. That was a message. It was Amiri basically saying, "We stand with the player, not the league's unwritten rules." And that's what made this situation explode even more, because now it wasn't just Shedeur versus the NFL's internal system. It was a global luxury brand publicly backing athlete autonomy. Sources claim this statement pushed some owners over the edge. One executive allegedly explored legal options, questioning whether the league could challenge the partnership. But lawyers reportedly shut that idea down quickly. There was no clear rule being broken, no contract violation, no legal hook strong enough to stop it without creating a public relations nightmare. And that's the part the NFL doesn't want. The optics of billionaire owners trying to limit a young quarterback's ability to make money outside the field would not play well with fans, especially in a time when player empowerment is already a major conversation across sports. Meanwhile, Amiri benefited massively. Fashion outlets picked up the story. Sports media ran headlines. Social platforms pushed clips and debates. The controversy became free marketing. Suddenly, Amiri wasn't just a luxury brand. It was the rebellious fashion house standing up to league power structures. And right in the middle of it all was Shedeur Sanders, getting attention from both worlds at the same time. Football fans were watching. Fashion fans were tuning in. Business analysts were breaking down the implications. But here's the twist. While some people think this controversy hurts Shedeur, others believe it actually made his brand stronger than ever. And once you see why, the entire situation starts to look like a strategic win. Here's the part nobody expected. Instead of damaging Shedeur Sanders' image, this controversy might have done the opposite. It didn't make him look reckless. It made him look powerful, confident, independent. Think about it. A rookie signs a massive luxury deal, doesn't ask permission, doesn't back down when pressure comes, and suddenly billionaire owners are calling emergency meetings because of him. That's leverage. That's influence. That's brand strength most veterans don't even reach. Every headline mentioning the NFL backlash only pushed his name further into the mainstream. Sports pages covered it. Fashion outlets jumped on it. Business creators started analyzing it. He wasn't just being talked about as a quarterback anymore. He was being discussed as a cultural figure. And brands love that. Because controversy, when handled correctly, creates attention, and attention creates value. Amiri got free global promotion. Shedeur got positioned as a trailblazer, someone willing to challenge outdated systems, someone not afraid to operate on his own terms. Even fans who don't follow fashion started paying attention. They wanted to see what he'd wear next, what statement he'd make next, how the league would respond next. That curiosity is marketing gold. But the most important part is what this signals to other players. Agents are watching, rookies are watching, veterans are watching. Everyone just saw proof that it's possible to move independently and still win big. That's why this moment feels bigger than one deal. It feels like the start of a shift. A signal that athletes don't have to wait years to build power. They can do it early. They can do it boldly. Which brings us to the final question. Did Shedeur Sanders just change the future of NFL endorsements? Or will the league find a way to take control back? Because how this ends will shape the next generation of player-business relationships. So now the real question isn't about Amiri. It's not even about the rumored $80 million figure. The real question is this. Did Shedeur Sanders just expose a crack in the NFL's power structure that can't be fixed? Because whether the league likes it or not, something shifted here. A rookie didn't wait his turn. He didn't play by unwritten rules. He didn't quietly ask for approval. He made a move, forced the league to react, and walked away with global attention. That's not normal in the NFL. That's disruption. If the league tries to clamp down with new rules, the NFLPA is going to fight it. If owners try to pressure players behind the scenes, public opinion will turn fast. And if they do nothing, more players will follow Shedeur's blueprint. Luxury brands, independent deals, personal empires built alongside football careers. 5 years from now, we might look back at this moment and say this is where it started. The point where athletes stopped being just employees of a league and started operating like full-scale business leaders, where rookies didn't wait for superstardom to build leverage. They created it themselves. But there's also another possible outcome. The league could quietly restructure partnerships, tighten appearance rules, redefine what's allowed at official events, and try to pull some control back without making it public. If that happens, Shedeur might become the example they use to justify new boundaries. Either way, one thing is clear. This isn't going away. Player empowerment isn't slowing down. Brand independence isn't shrinking. And younger athletes are watching this unfold in real time, taking notes. So now it's your turn. Do you think Shedeur was right to sign the Amiri deal without following the league's traditional path? Or do you think the NFL has a point about protecting its partnerships? And more importantly, do you believe this moment just changed the future of professional football business forever? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of all the behind-the-scenes NFL power plays, player business moves, and stories the mainstream media barely touches, hit that subscribe button, because this new era is only getting started.